So if you wouldn't mind, why don't you give us a little introduction of who you are and a brief introduction of what Byron Katie's The Work is and how you got involved in that.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I am or have always been kind of a seeker type person. I've been into meditation since I was 6, and I've been like sort of I lived in an ashram for a little while, like I've sort of done all the off the map kind of approaches to just to one's own personal growth. And I've always been interested in that, fascinated with that. And it was somewhere in my 30s, that late 30s, I think, that my partner recommended a book by Byron Katie called Loving What Is, which I highly recommend to anyone who is interested in this. It gives a really complete, detailed description of this process. And so I discovered it, yeah, sort of um, around that time. And when I read the book, it was like something really resonated with me. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that. And I kept kind of pinching myself as I was reading because I'm like, yeah, I would really like to get into this. And what it is just really in a way, a very simple thing. Like I start with some kind of stressful situation, of which we can all find plenty, I'm sure. I know they crop up all the time in my life. And when I first started, those situations were really big. Like I was really in a bad place with my partner. I was not sure what was going to happen. I was really stressed, and so it can work on those big stressors, but it can also work on those little tiny stressors or medium-sized ones that come up in daily life. So I do the work kind of on a daily basis, just as my meditation practice or one of my meditation practices, and and I'm always looking for what's the next little trigger, some little thing. Oh, rubbed me wrong, and just getting in the practice of noticing when something gets you, and being like, oh, this will be interesting to work. Let me see where this goes. Just that already is amazing. That's bringing awareness to where I was probably not aware. So that's kind of a theme here. It's like more awareness as I do this work. But then to go further with it, what the actual doing the work is, if you can call it doing the work, is then you go through these 4 questions and turnarounds for a statement. So you find what's bothering you, situation, then you find what you're thinking, actually write it down, like he's disrespecting me. So you write down he's disrespecting me, and then you go through these questions. Is it true? Can you absolutely know it's true? How do you react when you believe that thought? And who would you be without the thought? And those, I went through those quickly, but that's a meditative process. You want to actually spend, a few minutes on each question and let the answers come up from inside. And this starts to open the mind and starts to show you different like perspectives. Actually, it shows you how it hurts when you believe that thought, and if you didn't have the thought, it might be less stressful. And so then you go and you try to turn the thought around and see if there's any opposites, and then see if there's any truth in those opposite points of view. So he didn't respect me. I didn't respect myself. Like that's an opposite. So how could that be going on? Or I didn't respect him. How could that be a part of the equation? Or he did respect me. Am I missing something that I thought was for sure he was just not respecting me? So this work, in essence, is about expanding one's perspective, looking around the edges and seeing if there's any wiggle room, as I call it, to experience the same situation in a different way. So yeah, that's the short version of it, but it is an amazing little process.